Namaste, my dear friends. First, let me greet all of you. Happy International Educational Day and Happy Girls' Child Day. Today, we are here with you to present a beautiful topic, Vidya and its various formations as per Indian scriptures. This is Sujata Sriram from Visakhapatnam. There are 5 forms of Vidya: Vidya and Avidya, Para Vidya, Apara Vidya and Yoga Vidya. As per the Indian scriptures, all these 5 forms, they relate and correlate so many things about our learning aspects. So based on these recommendations and illustrations, the government has brought a policy on this. So let us go in detail about all those issues. Vidya and Avidya. If you see the definition and understand the definition from Hindu scriptures, as per Upanishads mostly, the clarity would come to us. Vidya. Vidya means actually correct knowledge, knowing about something. When you know something, you work with awareness. So the force of knowledge that leads to enlightenment and liberation. And if you see the spiritual aspect of knowledge, it helps people to understand their own self and in a better way so that they can understand the world as well. So if you understand your nature, you can understand the nature of the nature. And this is the real divine force that helps us to be more self-aware and empathetic. We can understand our own self and so that we can understand others as well. Whereas the other side, avidya, means it is mostly the ignorance or misunderstanding. The lack of knowledge is the root cause for all the fears and worries in this world. The fear of ignorance that creates obstacles and delusion in our life. Actually, if you see the reality, we are the creators of our own life. We are the destructors for our own life in something is happening wrong in our life. So a material or subjective aspect of knowledge that keeps people trapped in the cycle of birth and death. And this is the force, it distorts the human mind. So the quality of life comes down because of this. Avidya is the root cause of all the sufferings of our own self. The ignorance, the misunderstanding is due to lack of knowledge. So a state of misunderstanding about our own nature, reality and our true nature, which causes lot of problems to our life and to the surroundings as well. Yes, Vidya means actually knowing the difference between what to do and what not to do. This is very important. Knowing about what to do is very important. Knowing about what not to do is still more important in our life. That's why Vidya means holistic or spiritual knowledge. Avidya means materialistic or practical awareness, like most of the common saying. So avidya is nothing but ignorance, lack of knowledge. Vidya means knowledge. And mostly the ignorance of the knowledge gives the problems or the situations troublesome. So in yoga it is often referred to as the root cause of human suffering. And avidya is the main cause for ragadveshas in our life. Most of the time we keep listening about Paravidya, Aparavidya. Especially in Hinduism, Paravidya is the absolute truth. It is the knowledge of the absolute. While Aparavidya is the knowledge of the world. In other words, Aparavidya is the material knowledge of Vedic literature. Paravidya is the spiritual knowledge of the Vedic literature. And if you see in a minute level, the Paravidya, the spiritual knowledge, it is also called Atma Vidya, Tattva Vidya, Brahma Vidya or Bhuma Vidya. The spiritual realization or the knowledge of the self or the Brahman or the Absolute is the root cause of our divine energies. The goal of Hinduism or yogic philosophy is to attain this Paravidya. Paravidya is the science of connecting the soul to the Paramatma. In other words, oneness, seeing that Atman in all living or in all the things in this universe. So that is actually the simple term is oneness. And Apara Vidya, on the other hand, it is a material knowledge. The knowledge of the world includes the senses and intellect, includes the empirical and objective knowledge. And it includes the first part of the four Vedas along with their 6 limbs. It includes the knowledge of science, mathematics, philosophy. And the purpose of Apara Vidya is to acquire material gains, whereas the purpose of Paravidya is connecting to the higher self or the divine conscious. Vidya, knowledge. If you see the difference, Paravidya and Aparavidya, you can see that Paravidya, it gives us spiritual knowledge, and mostly it deals with Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, Aryankas and Upanishads, and it is Jnanakand. And it gives us the pivotal principles to live our life with surrenderance, with acceptance, with gratitude and with the divine knowledge. Whereas Aparavidya, the worldly knowledge, astic, it mostly it deals with Shruti and Smriti. Shruti means heard and has eternal principles. And Smriti, it is remembered and application of eternal principles. The Shruti and Smriti helps us to understand and apply in our life, the worldly knowledge or worldly experience. So the Smriti, it comes under Itihasas, Puranas and Dharma Shastras. And it can be even Veda Upangas and Upavedas and Vedangas. All the Shastras comes under this. And if you see the Shruti, the Vedas, 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Adharvana Veda, they help us to live our life in that Karma Kand. Samhitas and Brahmanas, like mantras and rituals, all rituals. The Vedangas, the Jyotish Shastra. So the Paravidya helps us to take the knowledge, and with the knowledge we can see the divine force everywhere in and around ourself. Whereas Aparavidya, it is the worldly knowledge. So if you understand the difference, you balance both and you take it as an example in our life, and you carry that divine force, the knowledge, as Paravidya is the main force in our life, like will behave. Then we come under that Yoga Vidya. Actually, Yogam means Kalayika, that is the unison, to join. Yoga is a spiritual practice that is originated thousands of years ago. And the yoga comes from the Sanskrit root, use, which means to join or to unite. And of late, most of the time, yoga is misunderstood by people like asanas, but it is the union of the physical, mental, spiritual aspects. It helps people to develop self-awareness, self-discipline and connection with their inner selves. And mostly this yoga education means the physical aspect, that is asanas are physical postures that are part of yoga education. It is part, remember very clearly I am saying it. And observing breath, pranayama is breathing technique that is part of this yoga. And meditation, so the physical means body, mind and our mental status, our heart coherence. Here we see. So meditation is part of yoga education. So ethical guidelines. Yoga education includes ethical guidelines from ancient yogic texts. So here if you see the unison of body, mind and even the breath. So this helps us to be in that divine energy state of mind. So the benefits, if you look into the benefits, Yoga Vidya, if you practice regularly, it helps people to improve their strength and balance and flexibility physically and mentally. And it can help relieve like many bodily ailments. And it helps people to respect their breath and enjoy the energies of breathing, and it helps people for relaxation and better sleep habits, and they can manage stress levels very well. It also helps people to be self-disciplined and self-control, and out of all I can say it helps us to understand their divine energy and to attain that calm and serene nature by the regular practice of this Yoga Vidya. As explained in the earlier slide, Yoga Vidya mainly focus on breathing habit and even the meditation in coherence with bodily exercises, the asanas, the physical movements. So here the most of the time we see that the yogasanas help us to dive deep and rise up. Dive deep and rise up. It means to go to that inner coherent connection with your divine energies, with your physical body. In between, the breathing helps as a bridge, like a bridge, to connect this body and mind. So there are so many asanas given, and Patanjali Ashtanga Margam, it explains so well this Yoga Vidya. If you see the relevancy of these types of Vidya, it touches the core element of human evolution. Education is the most powerful instrument to enhance and inculcate the Bharatiya knowledge, the tradition in this present day generation. Holistic education is the foundation to make human race to be ready to serve society, develops that inner strength and ourselves through physical and intellectual, spiritual, moral and artistic aspects. Our ancient education system was solely based on the holistic education approach, which not only focused on memorization but creative and critical thinking and problem solving nature is a part of this learning. So beginning from primary to higher education, learnings were always associated with fostering practical and world application of knowledge, emphasizing the principles such as dharma, which denotes duty, karma, which denotes action, and the pursuit of knowledge as means of attaining self-realization, which we call in a simple word, moksha and enlightenment. These principles guide the ethical and more dimensions for the education. So the moral dimensions of educations are being clearly seen by this holistic education. It is the education which is really required for the present society. Old is gold. Holistic education is always brings the real energy of the soul. It gives courage and acceptance and learning capability to handle the situation. So the ultimate goal of education is that the students or children understand and learn to live beautifully in a pluralistic, complex world with many uncertainties. And through the holistic approach of the curriculum, we attempt to provide support to such expectations. When they know how to handle situations, when they consider the situation as not as a troubleshooter but as a learning experience, the mindset changes. It gives confidence and it gives harmony to the individual as well as the family or to the society. A main element of a holistic education is its focus on the interconnectedness of knowledge and reality. The difference between varied knowledge as Paravidya, that is the spiritual knowledge, and Apara Vidya, the practical knowledge, and the Vidya, the true apprehension of reality, and Avidya, the false apprehension of reality. In that Mundaka Upanishad, they clearly explain this Jnana. And in knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, they experience by practices. By the practices, what are the practices? Sravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. It means hearing, thinking, and meditation means absorbing the root of it and imply it in their practical life. This integrates that holistic education practice is an active engagement of critical thinking and contemplation. So rather than reaction, we tend to respond to the situation. It gives the beautiful, beautiful world the real energies. According to new education policy given by Government of India 2020, NAP 2020, a holistic and multidisciplinary education would aim to develop the all capacities of human beings like intellectual, aesthetic, social, physical, emotional and moral is in an integrated manner. This is the holistic approach of education. So the Indian knowledge system curriculum framework was started by the government at all educational levels. Through this initiative, the children's holistic development can be achieved in Indian knowledge system by the integration of contemporary teaching methodologies with holistic education practices. Now is the time for significant opportunities, but it is also the duty of all those who involved in the systemized education system to convert this responsibility into possibilities. See, any policy will get the real energy when it is implemented in a proper, conducive ambience, and if it reaches to people, then the policy would really be flourished. So undoubtedly, this new education policy brings the ground realities and it brings back all the core values of our ancient education system, which aims holistic approach, holistic knowledge to an individual from the root stage, from the childhood, so that as they grow up, they live like a blossomed individuals. So they expect one thing, rather than thinking what can society contribute to me, rather than thinking that way, they think how I can contribute my energies to the society or to the welfare of the society. He or she becomes a pillar in constructing the beautiful new age world. But here I have to really recommend and remember once again Swami Vivekananda's very, very famous saying, education is the expression of perfection already present in man, and as such, humans can access all knowledge and wisdom within themselves, which leads to fostering mental, moral, and spiritual powers. This includes the ability to assimilate all knowledge that we inherit from our great ancestors. And I thank all the people, those who are supporting our content or presentation. my pranams and gratitude. And we have taken some clippings from so many things. So I personally thank all those people, and my special thanks to Dr. Sriram, who is really creating such a wonderful platform with lot of information which is really gives, which is very useful to the present generation and to run the society in a harmonial and a very holistic way. Thanks to you all once again, and we'll meet next time with one more great topic. Thank you. Namaste.